Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another ALM Launchpad Webinar for today, November 15th, 2016. I am Chris Ballon, Marketing Manager here at ALM, your host as always. I am joined by the lovely Amalia.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining.
And this week we've got a special guest attendee, Andreas, as well.
Good morning, everyone.
Fantastic. Andreas and I will be discussing targeting industries, a continuation of our discussion from last webinar on how strategies differ between targeting the same business in the same vertical, or different businesses in the same vertical, how to target different verticals, and Andreas is here to provide some great first-hand experience on how to do that and how ALM can help you do that as well. So for today's webinar, we will, as usual, go through news and articles and relevant industry updates for everyone. Andreas and I will be discussing, again, targeting industries, how to do that from a practical standpoint. We'll be discussing our November product promotion spotlight, as per usual, and then we will take your questions at the end. Please do note that if you do need to reach out to any of us after the webinar, we will be providing you with our contact information. Okay. Diving right into this week's news and articles and updates, new findings from Bright Local's recent 2016 Consumer Review Survey finds that 70% of customers will leave a review when asked. Now, this is just one of the items that was pulled out of this survey, and one of the biggest, splashiest numbers that was pulled out of this survey. But there is a lot of great information about local reviews, business reviews, and consumer reviews that came out of this survey. Consumer reviews, as we know, are very, very visible and are essential to standing out from your client's competitors in a local sense, in the local sources. If a client is struggling to get reviews, this Bright Local survey has discovered that the best approach is to just ask, can you leave us a review? And 70% of customers will leave a review when asked. This survey also revealed that surveys from a customer standpoint are most relevant in regards to restaurants, hotels, and the medical industry as well. They're the top 3 industries where reviews were required, and the top 3 industries where reviews and the most reviews were read and influenced behavior. Okay? The average participant, another 70% of participants, was revealed to read between 4 and 6 reviews before they trust a source or a business. This means that's about the magic number that a client needs to hit in regards to reviews to be trustworthy. Okay? 59% of participants consult 2 to 3 different review sources before making a decision. And that's, Google, Yelp, TripAdvisor, whichever. And then, of course, the survey does contain more details about consumer behavior. One of the other items that was incredibly interesting is that a consumer will trust a source with a 3-star or 4-star rating more than they will a customer, a source or a client with a 5-star rating. A lot of the participants of this survey claimed that seeing a business with a 5-star review meant that it seemed almost false. Reviews seemed fabricated for it. It was less trustworthy when it was a perfect score, and more trustworthy when it was a score of 3 to 4. Very interesting information came out of this survey. I do recommend you check it out. The link is here to Search Engine Land. You can check it out on Search Engine Land as well, but some incredibly interesting information about local reviews and consumer behavior regarding local reviews. These are very essential to what we're doing, especially on a local perspective. When we are trying to rank a client for local, we're trying to improve conversion rates, we're trying to break into a local 3-pack, or we're trying to stand out in map listings. It is essential to have reviews and have these not necessarily overly prominent reviews, but still trustworthy and human reviews. And that the best way to get them is to just have your clients ask for them. Did you like our services? Please leave a review on Yelp, right? Or please review us on our Google My Business page, right? Easy enough. Okay? So again, some very interesting, very relevant information. Okay. Amalia.
Yes, so I'd like to share this article that came across my desk this other day, and it's basically in regards to, we've actually discussed this in the past, and I want to repeat this. Basically, Google Safe Browsing is basically giving a 30-day timeout to any repeat offenders. The announcement just basically came out early last week, and basically they announced that their security blog, they have basically a new type of violation notice for all webmasters named repeat offenders for safe browsing issues. It's basically, this notification is aimed at websites that are repeatedly switched between compliant and policy violating behavior for the purpose of having a successful review and having warnings removed. So basically right now Google will notify these webmasters of this manual action via the Google Search Console, but the webmaster will no longer be able to request a consideration request for 30 days. So this 30-day waiting period is basically to discourage these repeat offenders from repeating the same offense over and over again by forcing them now to wait for the full 30 days. So right now, Google Safe Browsing aims at helping to protect Google users by showing warnings on dangerous sites or dangerous download files. In fact, one of the Google representatives wrote the following: Safe Browsing also notifies webmasters when the websites are compromised by malicious actors and helps them diagnose and resolve the problem so that these visitors stay safer. So I thought I'd share that brand new update with the Google Safe Browsing. Chris, did you have any feedback on that, or?
This is very important.
Very much so.
You might have seen that lately unsafe sites will be flagged as such in search engine result pages. They will say there is a possibility this site might have been hacked, or this site has been flagged as containing malware. Right? Sometimes that is a false flag. That's not who is going to get caught by this net. These false flag one-time quote-unquote offenders, again, it can be a false flag. Somebody can accidentally submit a report, right? Or a competitor could submit a report. And that does get flagged temporarily, but you can appeal that through Search Console. It is the sites that repeatedly have these actions levied against them that are going to get this timeout, that are going to get punished like this. So if your site has been flagged for containing malware, you fix it, and then that malware comes back, you might get hit by this. It might not be your intention that that's what's happening, or your client's intention on that's what's happening. They might be hacked repeatedly. They're going to get a timeout on this. So ensuring security standards are up to date on your client site is something that's going to help them out here. Now, of course, none of our clients are going to be doing anything scummy like this intentionally, so they aren't going to get hit by this intentionally. What can happen here is if the site is hacked repeatedly, that's when your client might get a timeout. They can't appeal the hack or the hack claim for 30 days. So this is something that you need to ensure that your clients have their say, CMS installations updated repeatedly, their security plugins updated and relevant to ensure that they aren't accidentally hit by this timeout. On to the next piece.
Okay, so this is another article I wanted to share. It's basically the Google Search Console is undergoing infrastructure updates. Basically, due to the infrastructure updates, some of the Google Search Console reports may be wrong or buggy. So please keep this in mind. So Google has confirmed that they are performing infrastructure updates to the Google Search Console. These infrastructure updates may impact the reporting within the interface, so you may not be able to get accurate information from the Google Search Console during these upgrades. Google has not indicated as to when the actual upgrade will be finished, but rather it's ongoing. They've also thanked everybody for their patience and hope that everything resumes, shortly, basically. Google has also mentioned that the data within the search analytics report should not be affected by these upgrades, but that in the other reports and sections it may prevent data from logging in some reports for the next few weeks. So I did want to share that with everybody. So that's a new update with Council.
And it's a little bit frustrating, as we know that since about September, Search Console has had some issues with their indexing and their indexing displays. That's something that we covered several months ago in one of our webinars. And at the time, Google said that there were no intentions to fix it immediately, which has been very frustrating. It means that when you're adding new pages to a client site, they aren't going to show up in the index report. That number might be inaccurate, and it's been inaccurate for months at this point. Now they're saying there are going to be more aspects of Search Console that are going to be inaccurate, which just makes our lives a little bit more difficult, as we do rely heavily on Search Console as essentially first-hand information from Google on how our client sites are doing, how many pages are indexed, what their warnings look like, what keywords are receiving traffic from from Google, in particular from search engine result pages, and knowing that for at least the entire month, Search Console is going to be unreliable for us. Again, it's very frustrating, but it's one of those facts of life that we're at the whim of Google in regards to their tools. Hopefully this is something that is resolved and addressed quickly, and we get back to accurate reporting on all fronts, including those index reports from Search Console. So thank you, Amalia, for sharing this. This is very important to know, because I know Search Console is a first-hand source of information that a lot of people in the industry use. Knowing that it is not reliable right now is essential information. This is something that our team is going to be sharing as well with all of our ICs, just to ensure that they know that Search Console is not accurately reflecting the impact our campaigns are having on a client's site. All right? Disappointing, unfortunate, but at least temporarily a fact of life. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Amalia. Okay, and now I would like to welcome Andreas to the mic.
Hi, Chris, I'm here.
Fantastic. Andreas, thank you again for joining us. Very excited to have you here today. As mentioned in our last webinar, I covered some tips and pointers on how to target different businesses in the same vertical, how your approach needs to change, and I know that this is something that you're very familiar with. So I did want to have you on and have a discussion with you about this. But first, let's get a little bit of background into yourself personally, if we can. Why don't you let us know what you did in your previous life and what led you to become a WSIIC?
Okay, Chris. So I joined WSI in 2014, but before that, for about a little bit more than 20 years, I worked for large companies like Siemens, a German electrical company, or Microsoft. Before I joined WSI, I worked for Microsoft, and I was running businesses for them. I was running business units. I was doing product management, project management. I even managed a sales force for some time. So I had a very interesting, broad, let's say, experience of working for large companies. One reason that made me leave the large companies was after 20 years, and I had always been in global business. I was always traveling. There was not a single week when I wasn't in a flight, having a flight, or it was on a different continent. And when Microsoft sold the business that I was managing, my wife and I made the decision to change. We moved to Napa in California, wine country, and we said we're going to figure out what we're going to do, and I found WSI, and since about 2 years, a little bit more than 2 years, we are the WSI business.
Fantastic. Phenomenal. And for just about that entire time, you've been working with ALM as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Fantastic. Now, what are we on the ALM team working on with you currently?
I don't have the exact numbers, but I think we have about 25 to 30 SEO campaigns running. We have several websites in development. We do some social media projects. So I think probably well over 30 projects. I think Amalia probably knows it better that we currently have running together.
Absolutely. You are one of the highest volume ICs by far.
Yes, yeah. I would say I would range more than about 30 at this point.
Okay.
Fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So how have you found working with the ALM team, Andreas?
I have to say ALM was very helpful, especially being a new WSI IC. I have always been in high tech. I have always been in the IP area, mainly in the network IP, and for Microsoft in the IP service area for TV. But you know, the WSI business is a different business. You're working, you know, building websites, doing SEO. I learned a lot doing the education that WSI is doing. But you know, doing it as a business when you're sitting in your home office and you got your first client, that's when ALM was really helpful. Right from the beginning, and Chris, you and I, we were working on our first projects together.
Absolutely.
For real estate agencies, Sotheby's, one of the great clients we still have. And you helped, every project manager was always available to engage in customer discussions or even during the sales process, and that was a very important support when you're starting the business, because a lot of things are new for you at that point in time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any success stories of our partnership that you'd like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. And let's start with the first client that we won. I remember, and I was lucky that the first global convention that I attended, I think it was in Boca Raton, and Amalia was there, and Vinish, and we discussed the strategy how to win this important client. I think everyone is aware with Sotheby's International Realty. It's a very prominent and very important company. And immediately after the convention, we had customer engagements. I remember Vinish was on the call, Chris was on the call with the client. That helped me to win this client. And over time, you know, every month we have these monthly progress reports on the SEO campaign. The project manager, first it was Chris, now it's Nam, is on the call with the client. And this really underlines our key message to our market. You know, we have this global power of WSI, and we are local. And I'm local in their office, while we have the experts from Canada joining us. The customer really enjoys us, and I think this is a key differentiator, and ALM helped a lot by achieving this.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. And I know, having worked personally on the Sotheby's project, it was a great project to win, and a great project that is still around now 2 years later. So
correct.
Fantastic relationship right out of the gate, and one that's been sustained as well. Great. So how are some of your other projects with ALM performing?
Yeah, we have, maybe to continue on this real estate segment, which is one very key segment for us. To give everyone a little bit background here, Napa, I think we have close to 1,000 real estate agents, and all large agencies are here. We have developed a very nice real estate agent website. It's actually an agent that is with Sotheby's. We are doing search engine optimization and social media. We have just won an agency website that we are developing. It's a custom website. It will be a very interesting one in the real estate business. We're going to do some very exciting new features and functionalities. I think actually by focusing on a segment like real estate, and I can talk about some other segments what we are doing, are now speaking the language. We know what it means, MLS integration, and what real estate agents needs, and how their listing should look like. And you know, this agency that we won, they sell homes in the multiple $1 million range, and there's different requirements if you sell a property for 15 million plus, or just a couple of 100,000. And it's very, very exciting to know that ALM has done some great work with us, and you know, the team has learned what it means to address real estate. I think it's a great success story.
Fantastic, phenomenal, and I believe so as well. We managed to take that initial relationship with Sotheby's and really spin it out into multiple projects over the past couple of years.
Yes.
So it's been phenomenal. Any success highlights you'd like to share?
Yeah. Another very interesting, and as you said, Chris, you wanted to talk about how to address specific industries. And one thing that we are doing, you know, at the beginning, we were just out to win, I would say, any customers to get the business started. But now, just having surpassed the second year, we are much more focusing on specific industries. And you know, Napa Valley, most of you probably know, it's wine country. So we have here in Napa alone over 450 wineries. We have about 5 million visitors coming in every year, spending a lot of money and enjoying the wine. But everyone here needs digital marketing. And as we grow our business, we have 3 core segments. One is real estate, as we already discussed, and there's a lot of real estate transaction going on here. But the other one is definitely wineries, which is not an easy segment to get into. There's lots of special requirements because of the alcohol laws and the way how they can market, but definitely a key target. And hospitality. Hospitality is very important. We have won several restaurants. We just got a very nice award from the WMA, the Web Marketing Association, for one of the websites that we developed together with ALM. It's Oak Avenue Catering, if someone wants to look it up. It's the standard of excellence in the restaurant category, which is a great achievement.
Absolutely.
But we have several restaurants, you know, a local Irish pub restaurants. We have several tour transportation companies now as clients, where we do either websites or SEO. So I think all in all, focusing on the segments is really important to understand what the clients need from a marketing perspective, and then transform it to the right digital marketing strategy.
Absolutely. So how have you taken that digital marketing strategy and adapted it when you go to, say, different wineries? Right? When you go from one winery to another, what kind of adaptation takes place there? What needs to change in your approach?
So one thing that is important in the wine industry, and you know, living here and enjoying a lot of wine, we also have an education, basic education, I would say, in the wine business, so we speak their language. And what is important, there's a difference in size. Definitely size matters here, and there's a lot of smaller wineries that I would say are in the $1 million to $5 million range. There's wineries in the let's say up to 100 million, and there's a couple of really big ones here. And each one we need to approach a little bit different, and each one is also using different winery-specific tools. So one thing that is very important, there are platforms in this industry, and I just call out one name. It's called Win65. It's the leader in e-commerce, wine platform, and point of sale. They have won most of the larger wineries, and we actually started to partner with them. We are on the way of becoming a certified web designer for them. Again, ALM was very helpful. Early on, we had discussions with management. ALM committed to develop websites based on the Win65 platform, but that's how you need. That's what you need to do to get into these market segments. Understand their platforms, and then go step by step in. There's a great opportunity right now. The platform, all of the winery platforms, needs to be upgraded. So that's definitely a very promising and a long sustaining segment for us.
Fantastic. So it definitely sounds like you do quite a bit of research into the industry itself and the inner workings of an industry before you approach it, before you target that vertical.
Yes, yes, I think it's, it's especially if you have these dominant industries or these kind of players, they're specialized in the area, and again, the wine industry has a lot of regulations around the the way how you can market. For example, we did some competitive analysis for one of the larger wineries, the Mondavi brands,
Mm-hmm.
and we realized that most of the tools to do social media, tracking what they do, are not working because the Facebook profiles are age restricted. And
Right.
so there's really sometimes, oh my God, yeah, this is required, but it doesn't make our life easier. But these are the things that you need to understand, and need to understand what are the requirements. Living here in Napa, we have the benefit to go to symposiums here and there and learn about the technology, and that's when you meet these technology players and you can partner with them.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, you have mentioned a few examples of how ALM has aided in the process of targeting some of these potential clients and some of these verticals as well, right? You had mentioned that we had helped you out with some of the research and competitive analysis for one of the larger wine distributors in the region, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. We did some, the Mondavi brand. There's one brand that's called CK Mondavi. They were interested in understanding how they are positioned against their competitors. It was a project which opened the door for a lot of more opportunities. And the competitive analysis is actually a great door opener when you want to get into especially the larger businesses. In their case, it was important to understand from a strategic perspective and talk about budgets and decide where to invest the money. So that's a really great moment in time where you want to talk to these customers, where you want to create a good documentation and show what you can do. And definitely, I think, Chris, we actually did this together, if I remember correctly.
We did.
That was a great success, and established a relationship. With these larger companies, it's really important to prove your capabilities, establish a relationship, and they might not buy immediately from you, but they will come back. We won a couple of clients that we talked 2 years ago. Wasn't the right time, but they came back now. So it's a little bit a different sales cycle than with the smaller clients, but definitely that is a very good approach with competitive analysis to get into these larger clients.
Absolutely, and I know that one sticks out for me personally because I know once we had done that competitive analysis, you and I sat down with the client together and went through that competitive analysis with them, and by the end of it, we had knocked their socks off, which was great. Yeah. So definitely one of the highlights of the great relationship between what you're doing and what we can help you with, right? We are partners in this.
Yeah, and I have to say, there's a client side, but there's also the way how we work together. And you mentioned at the beginning how many projects we are running. And when I say we, it's my wife and I. So it's not a big team that we have here. And when you grow this WSI business, managing 40 plus clients in parallel, there's a lot of complexity in the customer interface, but also with a production center. And here I have to say ALM, what we have established is we have weekly standing project calls. We go through all our projects every week. That helps the project managers, Brian for website, or in my case Nam for the SEO activities, that we once a week we take a snapshot and we know what to do. And we typically don't have a lot of other interaction on the phone or something, but we know what's important, what's the priority for the coming week. I think that's one very efficient way how we manage this, and I really thank Amalia for all the support on the sales side. We have a weekly call, but that helps a lot. The other point, which I think is very important, is also, sometimes things are not going as planned for several reasons. Like one example, we had a website one client got hacked, and ALM stepped up and worked over the whole weekend to get this cleaned up. That's a very unique support that you cannot get per default. Or sometimes there's escalations, and management is available to discuss opportunities or challenges, and we address them together. I think it's a real partnership that makes a big difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. And ALM has always been and will always be here to support our ICs, whether they have 40 projects like you do, or whether they have one project with us. Everybody gets the same level of service out of their partnership with us, and we can see how successful that has a potential to be, which is fantastic, phenomenal. Now, going back to targeting some of these industries, in regards to actual execution, once a client has come on board, how does execution of a marketing plan or strategy differ between, say, targeting a restaurant and targeting a real estate agent? In your mind, is it just one out-of-the-box solution, or is it something that has to be really adapted to really fit the client?
My experience is, let's take SEO as an example. My experience is actually, it's very similar. Mm-hmm. It's more to show during the sales cycle what value you can bring and that you understand the industry. Yes, you need, when you got all the content coming back, it needs to fit to the local market. We always review what we get back from the writers. But running the project actually is very similar. We have a standardized statement of work for SEO projects, and there is not such a big difference. You need to understand what is important for the industry, for the local market from a content perspective, but fundamentally it's the same way. Developing a website is not such a big difference. The only exception is you have some special requirements like integration of listings for real estate, or the winery, as I said, wineries have a lot of requirements from a platform perspective. But fundamentally, how to run a project, and especially coordination between us and ALM, that's pretty highly standardized, which is good. Otherwise we couldn't run so many projects in parallel.
Right. We've really gotten the volume of projects that we're running down to clockwork together, to where it really is a smooth process, which is fantastic. Okay. Anything you want to add, Andreas, regarding targeting industries, regarding your relationship with ALM? Anything you want to cover?
Yeah, one thing I would definitely say, and we have, as I said, we are running currently all of our SEO projects with ALM, and we are very happy with the result that we are getting there. We have had some really successful SEO campaigns. One retail client within a couple of months ranked on page #1 against the nationwide competitors. It was a mattress shop running against Sleep Country and the Mancinis and of this world. A very successful SEO campaign. Restaurants, every restaurant that ever started SEO with us is still our client. So SEO is definitely a stronghold, and SEO is very important from a WSI business. In our P&L, it's about 60% plus of the recurring revenue is SEO. So that's a stronghold. But also from a website development perspective, and I'm always looking at ALM for the more complex websites, and we have done the real estate website. We are now building a very complex agency website. Mm-hmm. We just launched a travel agency website, which is a fairly complex Expedia integration and other services integration. And the ALM team has just performed extraordinarily well. It was very complex, several partners in the project, but it's a beautiful website that we recently launched. So I think that the interaction with the project managers, having built the relationship and trust, that is a key element of success.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Great feedback. So if you could give the other attendees here one takeaway in regards to really targeting a specific vertical, what would your #1 piece of advice be in this regard?
I think understand what they need, understand what the industry needs, its vertical needs, and understand what the client specifically needs.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us, Andreas. We do appreciate your time. Thank you for, of course, since you're on the West Coast, being up so early to join us. We really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Looking forward to continuing the great relationship we have together.
Absolutely, and thanks for all your support.
Always.
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you definitely for joining us, and I look forward to continuing to work with you.
Thanks, Amalia.
Great, great. Now, moving on, Amalia, if you'd like to dive into some detail about our extended November promotion.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to send out a quick reminder to all of our ICs that we have extended our website template promotion for the month of November, so please take advantage of this. This site is selling for $4.99, and of course with the template purchase of 100, that's only $5.99. Also keep in mind it is fully responsive. We do include up to 30 pages of integrated content. There's blog module and also a number of additional items, inclusively to 15 images of Shutterstock imagery, and we also include a simple logo design. You know, for those clients that don't even have that, we've also included 1 hour of CMS training, and basically it's a fantastic offer. Do take advantage of it. It's only $5.99. Please reach out to myself or Morella or Armando. We'd be more than happy to help you. Okay?
Fantastic. Thank you, Amalia. This is a fantastic promotion. Of course, we have extended it just because of the fantastic demand that we've seen here. And it is absolutely something to take advantage of, to pitch to your clients as well. Website development is a great entry point into SEO, PPC, and other ongoing efforts as well. So take advantage of this while it lasts. Is my piece of advice here. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Andreas, again. I would like to ask you to stick around. It does look like there are quite a few questions aimed at you for today's webinar as well. So let's dive into our Q&A just while I leave everyone's contact information up here. Here is our first question. Sorry, Andreas, what is the range and average fee to your clients for SEO? If you don't want to share that here with the group, we can put you in touch with the asker of the question if they're looking for some one-on-one consultation here.
Is it the price range?
Question? Yeah, the question is regarding the range and average fee for your clients.
Yeah, okay. So what we actually have different campaigns. We have a lot of local SEO campaigns which are specifically important for restaurants, but we also run nationwide campaigns, for example, a tour company or hotel or even the real estate company to get exposure in the area. And it really depends on which level of campaign we are running. On the local level, I think we can sell probably in the $500 to $600 per month. On the nationwide level, it definitely is 4 digits, so I would say it starts somewhere in the $1,000 to $2,000 range, depending on how many pieces of content, how many link building activities are going on. So that I guess it gives a feeling about the range. It really depends client by client. The larger they get, the more we are customizing the features or the services that they are getting. But I hope that gives an idea.
Fantastic. Thank you. How do you get these leads? Do you do cold calling? Is it by referral, or do you use a lead generation company?
Well, that's a really good question. So when I started the business, and after the training, we got this QSP, and we had to make cold calls, and I decided I hate cold calls. I'm not the right person. And I stepped back a little bit, and I was. When you look from a sales perspective, I know that I'm not very strong in the very initial contact, be it via cold call. My German accent is sometimes a problem on phone calls, or being also networking meeting. I'm not this person who runs around and after 1 hour knows everyone. But you can hire people that do this. Mm-hmm. So I found a lady here in Napa locally. She is super well connected. We have a lead generation agreement. She brings me leads. We pay her on a flat fee in the first meeting, and if we're successful, she got some percentage of the deal. Very successful. I would say probably 30% plus of all the projects came from her. We also hired a telemarketing company at the beginning, which was very successful. I had a very successful caller. We actually ran 2 campaigns. The first time it was very successful. The second time it wasn't. We turned it off again. But you know, it's really getting this lead going. Now we are in a stage. I think we have so many references now that we are getting a lot of projects actually coming from referrals. That's a status you want to reach. But it takes some time to get to this point. So at this point in time, we don't use telemarketing anymore. We have still the lead generation person, and you know, our own networking. The chamber is becoming a very important lead generation. But now it's easier because we are established. Everyone knows what WSI is now. Actually, we simplify the internet as the most searched term on our website. So people really understood what WSI is. Positioning is done, and people are coming to us now, which is a very nice situation.
Absolutely. That's a great position to be in, right? Where you don't have to do outreach anymore, where the leads start coming to you.
Yep.
Fantastic. All right, so going back to the news item regarding hacked websites that was mentioned earlier, there is a question, which CMS was this, what was the hosting, and what was the fix? It turns out that this was a WordPress installation that was several years old and hadn't been updated in some time. It was hosted, I believe, on GoDaddy, I want to say. But the fix was that the site essentially needed to be ported over to a staging site, have the CMS and plugins updated to the latest versions, testing if it works, then doing this, applying the same fix to the live site. Once that fix was applied to the live site, we reappealed via Search Console, and this site might be hacked flag in a search engine results page was removed. Right? It's essential that when you're dealing with clients and looking at clients, if you're provided back-end access to the client site, which often we at ALM aren't until they're actually on board as clients, if you have access to the back end of a client site and you're looking to prospect with this client, provide that information to us as well, because we're able to flag this before they become a client, before we get 60 days into a client's program and find out that they have massive security breaches because their WordPress platform hasn't been upgraded in 2 years, hasn't been updated. Right? That's a flag that is front and center as soon as you log into a client's CMS. There's especially WordPress, there's a banner at the top of the page. This installation is out of date and needs to be updated. The big caveat there is if a WordPress installation needs to be updated, all of the plugins need to be updated to match that installation as well. That can cause breaking, which is why we do port sites over to staging servers to do that update to ensure that more damage isn't done by upgrading a WordPress platform. But note that having an outdated WordPress platform is a big security loophole. One of the reasons why CMSs do upgrade regularly is to patch these security holes. Okay. Andreas, are you willing to share your standard SOW?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Fantastic.
Please send me an email.
Great, great. We can get you in touch with the asker directly. Do we or you, Andreas, have any case studies to share about projects we've worked on together? I believe we do have some that we have available, especially ones that we have submitted for potential awards consideration as well. If you would like to reach out to Amalia directly, Amalia being Andreas's sales rep, Amalia should be able to get in touch with you and provide you with some case studies as well.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Do we host the WordPress sites with ALM? We don't personally do any hosting. We will launch a client site on a hosting provider of their choice. However, we do sync a develop site with a hosting provider. We don't have any personal hosting services. That appears to be all of the questions. Last call for any questions? No? Okay, thank you everybody for attending. I would like to thank Amalia and Andreas for joining me today on this webinar. Andreas, thank you very much. Very helpful, some great advice, and some great questions from the audience raised about our discussion as well. So please, if anybody has any further questions, anything else they'd like some more information on, please reach out to our sales team here. You can find Armando, Amalia, and Morella's addresses here. Reach out to us. We're happy to follow up with you directly as well. Thank you once again. Take care, everybody, and have a great day.
Thanks, Chris. Bye.